Hi, friends and family. Welcome to my channel. This is Gladys from Gladys Creations. Today is an amazing day because we are going to be doing the best challenge ever. Just our imagination challenge. And boy, was it a challenge. And the hosts to this channel are KathyJo from KathyJo's DIY and Brenda from Rustic and Lace. And their guest host is Nikki from Nikki's Eyes for DIY. And today we have a big challenge. And I'm doing mine faulting, okay? Because I'm doing all my fall crafting right now. So these are the items that we're going to be using: poster paper, belt, and a paper towel holder. So let's get on with creating our designs and see what's going on. Here, I'm going to start with this plate because this is going to be the base of what I'm going to be putting everything on. I'm going to Mod Podge it with matte Mod Podge, okay? And I'm sorry about the ding on my phone. You'll probably hear that a couple times here and there. All right, and then I'm going to take Java from Waverly chalk paint, and I painted with that. And there was a spot that was still wet there. I needed to be really dry because I want this to look kind of like faux wood. So then I take hazelnut and I dry brush it. And you're going to see that I do a boo-boo here. And I'm going to show you how paint is just paint. And you could fix it if you do a mistake. Okay? And I purposely mess it up really bad so you could see how it's easily done and easily fixed. There, I take cashew and I dry brush it with that because I want it a little bit with a whiter texture. Okay, and you see there? Oh, I globbed a lot of it there. So what do? I smear it and smudge it. I want to show you that you can fix this again. All I do is I go back to my base coat color, the Java, dry it. I show you that you dry it completely. And then I'm going to take the hazelnut and dry brush it over with the hazelnut, and then dry brush it with the cashew, and it's going to look just like I never did a boo-boo, okay? So if you do a boo-boo, that's okay. Start over again. It's just paint. It's not going to do anything. See how I start blending everything in again all over again? You don't even see that there was a mistake there. Okay, and then I go right back to my cashew and dry brush again. See, all done. And then, okay, I normally spray paint all my paints, but I ran out of the clear coat matte finish because I don't want this to be high gloss. I wanted a matte finish. I want it to look like wood. So what I do is I dry this really good, and then I use the matte Mod Podge. And I didn't like that. I start showing you spots where I had glue on. That's what I was showing you. So to fix that, I wipe those areas. You see how I'm blotching them with the antique wax, and then rubbing it off a little bit. Then it's too brownsy for me. So then I take the white wax from Waverly and I tone down the brown again because I want it to be like a frosted wood. I don't want it to be so brownsy browns. So see there, I take the white wax and tone it down just a little bit. Right there, I go a little bit heavy, and then I realize, and I'm like, oh no, I gotta wipe this down. So I wet down the brush, and then I just go lightly with the brush then where it's where I see it to be a little bit too brown, like that that chocolate brown color, like, because I want it more Java looking than like a chocolate brown kind of. And that's what the antique wax does. It gives it that like chocolate brown color, and I didn't want that. Okay, and then that's all done. Okay, so then I turn it over and do the same thing to the back. And then here I'm putting some legs on because I want it to be a little bit like a riser. And I'm gluing them on with my Gorilla Glue. Okay, and they're just like some fancy legs that I just like, corner legs. And that's why I didn't paint the middle, because of that, so it has so it adheres to the plate and not the paint. Now here we're gonna start with our challenge items. I showed you that how it looked like when I got it. I took it and I bent it. Okay, and after I bent it, I took a cone from Dollar Tree, sliced it in half, put hot glue on it, laid the end part inside that part. Then I'm gonna lay the other part on the top. Now the reason why I'm doing this, it's not because I'm gonna add florals to it or anything. I need it to be a base, okay? Because you're gonna figure out here in a couple seconds, well, in a couple minutes, what I'm doing. Now there, I need to make like a triangle form. So I take masking tape and I tape that up so it's nice and snug. And you're gonna see I'm gonna be using masking tape. Okay, and there I'm cutting the triangle piece that I need for the middle. Okay, I cut half of the bottom of a cone, and then I like cut the inner part. See how I measured it? And I cut the inner part, and then I attach it there with hot glue. But then it started melting my foam. So that's when I change over and say, I can't do it. I have to do it all with masking tape. So the other pieces, you're going to see me attaching them after I cut them and attaching them with masking tape. Okay, and I wrap this all up in masking tape once I get all the pieces together, because I'm trying to form like an elbow piece here. Okay, like an elbow shape there. There you go. And then I wrap it up in pieces of masking tape. Okay, and I'm going to use a lot of masking tape. You're going to see me use a lot of masking tape. Now here I take the floral foam from Dollar Tree and I put one on the top and one piece on the bottom. Okay, and then in the middle of them two, I put some of the white styrofoam that I still had left from before. And then I start wrapping it with the masking tape. And this was a real mission, trying to get this to stay still and to wrap, so I can wrap it. But I get it done because I do it, instead of wrapping it and wrapping it one solid piece, I did it in strips, which gave me a little bit more ability to keep it stable. Because if I would have kept moving the piece as turning it, it would have fell apart. Now here I'm taking the poster paper, which is the next challenge item, and I had cut it in half and then I cut it in half again. Here I'm wrapping the bottom half with the poster paper, cut the excess I don't need, use the hot glue gun and make a cone for the bottom. Are you guessing what I'm making already? Yeah, I bet you are. So there I take and I cut the top off, and then I wrap it with masking tape. Okay, and to seal all the edges so you don't see the edges. There I get a little bit frustrated and I had to get the other half and use that. So then I tacked that down and like a baby diaper kind of. And then there I had to wrap it. Okay. And then once I wrap that, I wrap it really well because I want something that's going to really adhere good. And, you know, masking tape is like paper, and it doesn't have a shiny coating like poster paper does. So you're seeing me that I'm wrapping it. Now you see it's not that smooth, right? Don't worry about it. Don't need to be smooth. You're not going to see none of this. All right, I'm going to cut all this, all the excess off and make it nice and round. Are you guessing what I'm making now? Yep, I think you know. So then I take the top off, and then I'm taking the felt. And now I'm going to wrap it the kind of the same way. I'm going to use 3 sheets of this brown felt because I don't want to see, just in case. Now, the felt is not for the base. The felt is to cover the color. I didn't want to sit there and paint this and make this all smooth and all that. So what I did was I took the felt and I'm wrapping it in felt, and it's our third challenge item. So there you go. I used all 3 challenge items, and I'm still gonna keep going. So there I am. I'm wrapping it up, and I'm using Mod Podge and hot glue, okay, to attach this, because now I need it to adhere really well. I need it to stay still because this is covering all that mess that I made underneath, and this is so you can't see none of that mess that through what I'm gonna do next, okay? And this all here didn't take me very long. What takes me long is the next step, that after that I do all this, okay? And did you guess what I'm making? I bet you have. If you haven't, you'll know in a minute. So then I'm there covering everything up, and then I see that I still have a little spot left. So I have to take another half piece of the felt to cover that little spot there that I missed. You seen that? So what I decide to do instead is take a whole full sheet so it all lines up, so I have a free edge on the top. Okay, and you see that now. See how I measure, and then I decide I'm just going to cover the whole thing right there, and cover the whole thing with the hot glue. You see how I put it all around and wrap it? Then I'm going to take the edges and I'm going to snip them, okay, about 1 inch. I don't know. I think I show you me doing that. I'm not sure. Oh, no, I cut the excess off and leave about 1 inch on the top. There, I'm snipping the edges. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit off of camera view, but this is a big project, okay? And there, I'm just pushing them down inward inside of the cone. You see that? Okay, great. There we are. And did you guess what I'm making? Yep, I'm making a cornucopia. That's what it's called. And I have some history that I'm going to go over with you, how the cornucopia came about. Because I was curious, why would they make something like in this shape and form to put vegetables in, and you know, from their stocks to put on the table and stuff. So I have some history I'm going to go over with you in a little bit. Now here I took the squirrel sticks, okay, and I cut them so they would reach up to the bend. When they would reach to the bend, then I cut it right there. I cut that piece off, and then I left the points though. I cut the flat edge off, and the points are at the bottom, and I'm gluing them, only the little tips, okay, to the tip of the cornucopia. cornucopia, okay? And um, and I use 15 sticks. You got to make sure that you use an odd number, not an even number, okay? Because guess what I'm doing? Yep, I'm basket weave this, just like the original cornucopias were, okay? Um, Most people make it out of mesh now and stuff like that. Not me. I gotta be difficult. I'm taking twine and I'm gonna wrap this baby. So then I take it and I wrap the corners, the edges on the bottom, wrap all the points up. I go around about like maybe 10 times. Then I'm gonna start basket weaving. And you're not gonna see it much there, but there I start basket weaving. What you do is you go over the top of your first one and then behind your second one, and you keep weaving in and out, the top and the bottom, the top and the bottom, and you don't need any hot glue or anything. This holds together, okay, because of you weaving it. That's what tightens it, because when you go from behind, you pull downwards and it tightens and it keeps tightening, and you're gonna see that the cone is gonna get a little bit thinner then, okay? And that's why I needed to have a base underneath with the styrofoam and stuff, so it wouldn't go completely flat. And here I show you when I'm higher up, how it's looking, and so you could see how it is that I basket weave. If you want, you could slow down the video on the settings, okay, so you could watch it a little bit. I had to have courtesy for the other creators. This video, if I would have put it out, would have been like 2 hours long, okay? Me showing you how to do the basket weave, because I not only show you it here, I show you it when I'm getting to the end of this part, the middle of this part, the beginning of the other part, and then the ending of the other, okay? So you know how I continue on the basket weave all the way to the end, because if not, you're not going to know how I was able to continue the basket weave when they're on the bend at the elbow, okay? There's no more bamboo skewers, okay? So there you go. You see, I'm there now. I take 15 more, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that and go right up to the beginning. I'm gonna hold that down. I'm gonna take that bamboo skewer and I'm gonna glue the other one to that one, to the old one, okay, right to the left side, okay? And then I'm gonna continue doing that all the way around, attaching the two screws on the left side. You have to do it that way, because if I do one left, one right, one left, it's gonna be all wonky, okay? And you want this to go straight right up, okay? Now once I glue all the skewers, okay, I'm gonna wrap this around the two skewers. I'm not gonna weave. I'm just gonna wrap the twine around until I completely cover the old skewers, and a little bit, maybe I think like 3 rows of 3 rows of wrapping on the new skewer, okay? And you're gonna see that right now. I'm gonna show you. See, I put glue down because I'm gonna start wrapping, and since I'm not weaving anymore, you have to glue the twine down, because if you don't glue it down, then it's not gonna be tight and it's gonna sag on you, okay? So every little once in a while, add a little bit of glue gun and wrap it. Okay, you see how I'm doing right there? And once I wrap it into the new skewers 3 times, then I start to weave again. And I start right on the top, like where I left off, okay? And you're going to see that now. There you go. See, and now it's easier because they're longer. And what I do is I just wrap the top, like I weave at the top and then I pull it down. I weave at the top and pull it down. That's what I do. I do like 3, 4, 5 skewers at a time. Okay, and pull it. But there I did a mistake. See? And I'm a crafter and I've weaved many of times. I'm not a pro at it, but I do mistakes. So there I did a mistake. I did two, I think it was two from behind and then jump forward to the front, and you have to go one skewer to the front, one gets wrapped in the back. And you go in, out, in, out, in, out, all the way around. And you just keep on doing that all the way to the top. You see how the weave is coming out? That's the second shot. And I'm showing you that it's easier now because you see how it's tightening. And excuse me, I'm sorry. You see how the skewers are tightening and getting closer and closer. All right, there I'm at the top. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap it around. Now I'm just gonna put hot glue on the skewers and wrap it around about 3, 4 times. Okay. Then I'm gonna cut it and bring it down. Then I'm cutting all the skewers flush to the edge. Okay. And there you are. You see them all flush. Now I'm gonna take this rope that I got from Walmart. All right. And the rope, I'm going to take it and I'm going to wrap it all around 3 times. And I'm going to glue it on by adding glue here in the first row to every one of the skewers. That's how I'm doing it. Okay. And then the second row, I'm going to add it to the rope. Okay, you see how I'm adding it to the rope and then squeezing them together? Then the third row, when I get to the third row, I'm going to be adding the glue to the felt, okay, on the edge. And I kind of sort of like going towards the inside of it. And then when you, at the end, and there goes my head, I'm so sorry about that. Oh my goodness, my hair is so gray. And then yeah, and then I'm going to take it, and then I had a little bit of trouble up here rolling, getting to the end because it was getting tight, so I cut the cover off. And I hate cutting that off because I like to show you where I got the twine and what kind of twine it is, right? And here I couldn't even cut it with the little scissors. I needed a big scissors. And then you're going to see a gap. I noticed this in the video, but I catch it. Okay, before I move on. And I show you the cornucopia. All right, and you see it's all glued together on the bottom. Now here I'm taking some round styrofoam, and I'm gonna glue it with the Titebond Quicken It, and also with the hot glue. I don't want to use hot glue because the hot glue keeps melting everything, and then I'll make it hard. And then when I want to stick my florals in or whatever, because that's the purpose of this, it won't allow me to. So then I turn it upside down to make it easier so I can have it that it sticks. And then I flip it back over to put the bottom on the bottom and the top on the top. And then I glue on the other piece. Okay, and here I'm gonna start doing the decorating, and I'm gonna put some music on for you to enjoy while I decorate the rest of this. Okay, so you enjoy the music, enjoy the decorating, have fun, and I'll see you back in a little bit. And I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And it was a pleasure having the fun that I had with making this. I think it's so beautiful. Everything came out fabulous. I'm going to be adding more to this as I go throughout the month. Um, I'm going to be showing you my living room, how I have it all decorated in a couple of days from, well, a week or two from today. I'll show you how I have it all decorated with everything that I create. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I am so happy and grateful to have you here. Without you, I wouldn't be anywhere. Okay, and please like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to reach a goal by before Christmas to reach 500. I'm at the 200 mark, so I really need your help, guys. Um, like I said, like, share, and subscribe. Okay, it's all free and it doesn't cost anything. I also want to ask that you watch the playlist. There's so many good creators on there. The hosts are amazing, the guest host is amazing, everybody's amazing on that playlist, and you'll find all their information in the description below. And I want to thank you so much. And also, when you go into the description, there is some information there about how you can contact me if you want to give any donations. It helps me so I can bring you more content. It costs a lot of money nowadays to craft, and and I do live on a tight budget, so any donations, and also my email's there. If you want to send me some happy mail, you can email me and we'll make arrangements for you to mail stuff out to me if you need. Okay, so thank you once again. Hope to see you on the next one. Have fun, and I'm glad you enjoyed, and stay blessed, people. Amen.